If you have a law degree from anywhere around the world and you're wondering how to use that law degree to become a lawyer in Canada and how much it will cost you, then this video is for you. I'm going to be talking about each and every step that you need to take in order to become a lawyer in Ontario and how much it will cost you in Canadian dollars. So if you're interested, keep watching. The first step that you need to take is you need to apply for an NCA assessment. The National Committee on Accreditation, which is the NCA, is a standing committee, and they assess legal training obtained outside of Canada to make sure that anybody who's applying to become a lawyer is on the same standard as anyone who graduated from a Canadian law school. So that's the first step. You need to apply for an NCA assessment. How do you apply for one? It's super simple. You go onto the NCA website, you fill out an online form, and you pay $350 plus taxes. You need to pay that fee in order for the NCA to start processing your application. Once you've done that, you need to submit some documents to the NCA. You need to mail it to them, so mailing a hard copy to the NCA's address. The important point to note here is that you can't send the documents yourself. You will have to arrange the documents to be sent directly from your university or your bar association so that the NCA gets the official transcripts. What are the documents that you need to send in? First of all, if you have any pre-law education, you need to send in those transcripts. The second is, again, your law degree and your transcript for your law degree. The third thing is you need to send in your resume so that they can take a look at how much work experience you have and any other thing that you might want them to consider. And if you are a licensed lawyer in any country, then you would also need to send a certificate of good standing from the bar association that you're a part of. Now, I do know that collecting these documents is going to cost you money, and I would put aside I think about $200 just to make sure that you know the costs in order to arrange these documents to be sent directly to the NCA. So in total, applying for an NCA assessment is going to cost you about $550. The NCA is going to get back to you in about 6 to 8 weeks, giving you an NCA assessment. The NCA assessment will tell you what you need to do in order to obtain an NCA certificate of qualification. And this can vary from person to person. I can't tell you how much exams you're going to have to write or what your assessment is going to look like. But I can definitely give you a brief idea of how many exams people get depending on their background. If you have a common law background, the NCA can ask you to take 5 mandatory courses. If you have a common law and civil law background, then the NCA can tell you to take 8 courses or more. I think 8 is the minimum. They can also ask you to take more courses. Sometimes the NCA will also tell you to take an English test or a language test. It could be English or French, depending on your background. And lastly, the NCA can also ask you to go to a Canadian law school, which is where the LLM comes in. And they'll ask you to take these courses in class at a Canadian school. And even if the NCA does not ask you to take these courses in school, you can still choose to take your NCA courses at a Canadian law school, and that's mostly the LLM program. Now, how much will it cost you? Each NCA exam will cost you $300 plus taxes. So if you are assigned 5 courses, then that's going to cost you $1,500. Now, you need to purchase books, notes, and sometimes if people don't understand the materials, they might need a tutor as well. So I would put aside $1,000 just in case you need a tutor or you need some extra notes. But buying books and notes is going to cost you money, and I would put aside $1,000. So in total, it's going to cost you about $2,500. If you are taking 8 courses, then it will cost you $2,400 plus $1,000 for books or notes, which is about $3,400. Now, if you decide to take the LLM, it is a lot more expensive. Applying for the LLM is going to cost you $160, and the tuition fee for LLM ranges from $35,000 to $56,000 depending on which law school you go to. So approximately in total, it will cost you around $35,000. I'm going to put the exact number right here. Again, the LLM is a lot more expensive, but it has its benefits as well. And if the NCA asks you to take an English test, then I know that in Ontario it will cost you around $300 to take the test. But again, depending on where you are, you might have to do a little bit more research on how much it will cost you. You're not done yet. Once you're done the NCA courses, whether you decide to take the NCA exams or you went to a Canadian law school, you can't practice law unless and until you are licensed to practice in a province. Now, I did my lawyer licensing process in Ontario, so I'm only going to be speaking for Ontario. I'm not sure how the process is like in other provinces, and perhaps you can do some more research if you want to know more about other provinces. So again, I'm talking solely about Ontario. You need to apply to the Law Society of Ontario once you get your NCA Certificate of Qualification. The application fee is around $160. Then you need to take the lawyer licensing exams. In Ontario, you need to take 2 exams, which is the barrister and the solicitor. I know that in some countries you can pick and choose, but in Ontario, you need to take both. Each exam is going to cost you $750, including the books. So in total, that will cost you about $1,500 for both your licensing exams. Now, you're not done yet. In Ontario, you need to complete an experiential training component, which pretty much means that you need to get some practical experience. And there are 2 ways to do it. You could either do the articling program, or you could do the law practice program. Again, if you'd like me to talk a little bit more about this, I can do this in another video. But for today's video, I'm only going to be focusing on the process. So you have to pay the Law Society a fee, which is an experiential program fee, which is $2,800, no matter whichever option you choose. So you need to pay that to the Law Society, and then once you finish that, you've successfully completed all the requirements, and then you can apply to get licensed. So when you apply to get licensed, you also pay around $165. They reduced the fee because of COVID-19. So I had to pay $165, but I think it's a little bit more, around $185. I'm not sure, but I paid $165. So in total, you're paying about $4,625 to the Law Society of Ontario to get licensed. Now, in the end, I know I've been throwing a lot of numbers at you, so I'm just going to summarize what I said. If you are taking 5 NCA courses, then you're paying $550 to apply for an NCA assessment, $2,500 to take the exams and buy books, and then $4,625 to that you pay to the Law Society of Ontario to get licensed and take the licensing exam. So in total, you're paying about $7,675. So again, 5 courses will cost you $7,675. Now, if you're required to take 8 courses, then the cost is going to go a little bit higher. So let's do the math again. $550 for applying for the NCA assessment, $3,400 for taking 8 exams and purchasing books, and then again, $4,625 that you pay to the Law Society of Ontario. And in total comes up to $8,575. Now, lastly, if you want to go to a Canadian law school and do the LLM, it will cost you $550 again to apply for the NCA assessment, and $35,000 roughly to the exact number is 35150 to apply for the LLM and also the tuition fee. And then lastly, again, you need to pay the Law Society $4,625. The total comes up to around $40,000. Now, I hope that this video was helpful, and if it was, you should subscribe to my channel because I do talk a lot about the NCA exams, how you need to study for these exams, the general lawyer licensing process, and anything that anything internationally trained lawyers go through. So if you have any specific questions, you can comment below, and perhaps I will answer those questions. And yeah, if this was helpful, subscribe to my channel, and I'm happy to be helping out people who are sitting in different parts of the world, because when I was part of this process, I did not have a lot of information, and I had to learn it as I went through the process. So I wanted to use this platform to help people just get an idea of what they're getting themselves into. So